All right, welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday and another edition of the Ryan Ripken Show. And look, before we talk about who's in studio, let's talk about what is on the agenda here today. Well, look, we're going to talk a lot of the trade deadline. We had Jim Duquette on last episode to talk about it, but there have been some more reports that I think we will dive more into as we move closer and closer to the MLB trade deadline. But before that, we're going to talk a little bit of Ravens because training camp just opened up, but specifically, the Ravens are in the news and Lamar Jackson is, but not of anything of his doing. It's back to the national media, and there was a comment here that seems to be what we think as, I don't know, a little bit comical. We'll put it that way, and we'll wait to explain what that entails. We have a guest joining us today. You guys have probably seen these incredible rugs that have gone out there. Lamar Jackson got one. Gunnar Henderson had one made for him. Recently, Bronny James had one. Gordon, the creator, is going to join us here today to talk about the rugs and talk about the journey and really just what that experience has been for him. And yeah, we have some other little tidbits here and there, but that is what we have in store for you today. And again, as always, you guys can hit that like and subscribe and listen on the audio version. We're getting better with that, but we appreciate you guys. Now, let's go around who's in studio. It's a full house in here. On my right, we got Zach and Kevin hanging. How we doing?
Feeling good. Feeling good. How we feeling? I know it's a Monday, but it's still going well.
Yeah, just vibing. Just vibing.
We are vibing. We'll
Can you scoot, Kevin? Can you scoot close to the arm as you can?
There it is.
There we go.
There it is.
This couch does me so dirty every time I sit.
It does
on
eat you alive. It really does.
Well, in that case, though, let's go to the other side, and we have Brad and Rocco. How we feeling, fellas?
What's up?
Feeling great.
This hair's a whole vibe right now. I don't know what the hell's going on. What's up, bro? Listen, we're remodeling in here. Pardon our dust. That's why Rip looks like he's in a different spot because he is. But we are remodeling. Things are happening in the studio, and I am like pumped.
Look like you're ready for vacation, man. Look like you needed like a nice
Listen,
pina colada, margarita.
The O's do a lot of things good. This is just another one of those things.
Yeah.
This Hawaiian shirt is dope.
Banger.
Yeah.
They outdo themselves every year with Hawaiian shirts.
They really do.
Bobby Hat Night on Friday. Be there, be square, and I will be there.
Go.
They are. There's a lot of things here happening, by the way, which we are excited about. But yes, the studio, if you guys saw on the channel, I put it out there for the Holy Shirts and Pants members and did one for all of our channel members there, even the Rips Good Kids. We are remodeling, and thank you guys. This is, again, so we can make the content better. So for you guys being members of the channel, it's going right back into the studio here as we continue to make this a better experience, not only for all of you, but obviously for us. Then we can continue to give you guys what you want, what you don't want, or what you might just have yourself scratching your head over. We have a lot of that. And also, I want to make this point out. Rocco won't hear, but Rocco announced today on X, final day on Wednesday. Not with us, though. Not with us. With Fox.
Yeah, let's clarify.
Talk about getting your hopes up when you open X and see Rocco's leaving, and then you find out he's still doing the show with you.
Yeah.
Also, you did not live up to your end of the bargain.
Listen, you're calling everyone in the chat cowards. You're the coward.
That also was not me. That was Rocco.
It was me. It was me. And I said it was Zach.
Everyone in the chat's like, Zach, why did you call us coward?
But
it was literally
believable.
Rocco.
Okay. So let's just because I think people have no idea what either of you guys are talking about.
Context,
so I'm gonna context what's happening. What we're talking about is Rocco is moving on to the next chapter of his career. He's leaving Fox 45. So everyone in the Baltimore area has seen him, and him and I have worked together. We've done Rip and Rock. We do Sports Unlimited. So Rocco is moving on, but he is not done here. His journey is just beginning with the Ryan Ripken Show, so don't worry about that. I don't know what the context with you guys. Is it even worth it?
Yeah,
or do we just move
it. Zach was just gonna, on my post, he was gonna quote it and just go like, "Too long, don't care."
No, okay.
What exactly were you gonna say?
I was gonna put the thing where it says, "Not reading all that." Happy for you sorry that happened. But I decided not to steal Rocco's thunder and be a good person. I also texted Rocco some things that I was like considering putting under. And
that would have been good though.
It would have been fun.
I wouldn't have minded that. But,
so I guess the question is for Laura was asking what's the next move?
I don't know yet. So we'll figure that out in the coming weeks, months, hopefully not a year. But
I was going to say, if you went to years, I was like, okay, really leaving this
could
open.
be years,
Next few decades, we're going to just see where it goes.
So essentially, though, that's the beauty of it. We all have a journey, and for Rocco, the journey continues on, but he is going to be involved with us. We're excited to see where it lands with him specifically next. But again, Rocco and I met doing the Fox 45. That's why we're all here to get today. So excited about it, happy about it. And this is, it can be a lot of different emotions, but we're proud of you, Rock. That's all I was trying to say. And of course, it got taken off, as it always does, with you guys completely unhinged and off the rails.
I mean,
well, go ahead, and then we can get back on the rails.
I was just going to say, I've been in Rocco's boat multiple times now, but the one that was actually my doing, it was scary. Listen, I left a really nice, cushy job and just went for it. Just decided to pursue a career in YouTube, and it worked out pretty well. And so listen, man, it's scary, but it's definitely well worth it. You're gonna love this decision.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, the month of August is gonna be
scary.
Just gonna take no. You know what? Just gonna take some time off. I'm gonna enjoy it. Go to a few weddings. Maybe
hot
go on
Rocco
vacation.
summer.
Who knows what?
You having a hot Rocco summer in August?
About to have a hot Rocco summer in August. You want to join me? We make it a hot Rocco and Zach
Well,
summer.
you got to rename yourself to Rocco if you have a hot Rocco.
Okay, now I'm going to cut it off right now because now it's just unhinged. And again, we've been running and we have not talked anything about our subjects. But Rocco, I'm happy for you. And it's hot guy autumn, not for the summer. We're getting ready for the autumn. But let's talk about getting ready for the autumn, guys. And we will get into this trade deadline here. We're going to talk a ton of baseball upcoming with you. But the one news we want to talk about, Ravens opened up training camp officially. Vibes are high. It's nice seeing Derrick Henry in a Ravens uni besides OTAs.
Hell yeah.
Talking to Rob Holding of Crystal Palace, one of the players, as the Stateside Cup is coming to Annapolis here on July 31st. We're all going to be there. Go to statesidecup.com to get your tickets so you can join us. But Rob Holding, while I was bringing this up, he was talking about how excited he was to watch the Ravens. He's an American football fan, and all of us are. But I think one thing we weren't excited about, at least today, was hearing yet another talking point and narrative on the national media as it related to Lamar Jackson, specifically with the Baltimore Ravens. And the part that's comical, fellas, is that Stephen A. Smith, of all the people in the situation, was the one that was making the comments saying that Lamar Jackson really hasn't been criticized in his NFL career. So don't let us be the ones do it. You guys can be the judge. Let's play the clip for you guys now.
First of all, I would appreciate it if he doesn't make up narratives, because what he was saying was a lie.
What?
And number two, I'd like him to look in the mirror. I respect the hell out of John Harbaugh. I think he's a great coach. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's an elite coach in the National Football League, but he also is somebody that is known for being incredibly honest. We respectfully, Coach Harbaugh, what the hell are you talking about? What is this critique and this criticism of Lamar Jackson? Where is it coming from? There's only one. You haven't been to a Super Bowl. You haven't won a Super Bowl championship. You're a two-time league MVP. There are 9 people, Molly, 9 people that have won Super Bowl championships that have been two-time league MVPs, okay? Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Brett Favre, Johnny Unitas, Joe Montana, Steve Young, Kurt Warner, and Patrick Mahomes. Every single one of them have won a Super Bowl championship but Lamar Jackson. That is all we say. Nobody questions his ability. We used to question his ability to throw the football. That's been thrown out the window. We know how electrifying and mercurial of an athlete and a talent and a runner at the quarterback position that he is. We know what type of a game changer this brother is. Lamar Jackson is elite when he got his money. Before he got his money, all of us were sitting here saying, wait a minute now, he deserves his bag. Now, be careful, because you negotiate it for yourself.
Yeah.
You understand that your family members were a part of it. We were worried about that because the NFL can be a very complicated apparatus. But at the end of the day, we looked at him and nobody questioned that he deserved his money. Nobody questioned his greatness as a quarterback. Nobody questioned anything other than the fact that you have not won a Super Bowl. Now, let me get to Harbaugh.
Okay, so let me start with this. And it's kind of, I know that people have their perceptions on these talk shows and you understand what you're kind of getting. But the thing that's very comical and laughable is that have we been in a dream, or did we not just see from the beginning? You can go back to tweets 7-8 years ago of Lamar Jackson coming out of Louisville that he needed to transition for his career to be a wide receiver. That was number one. Number two, his style of play will never be successful. He can't be a winning quarterback in the NFL. Then he can't throw. He's not going to be able to put his team in a position to win enough games or to be a top quarterback. He's won 2 MVPs in this process. And wasn't there just a title on ESPN a couple years ago that said, is Lamar Jackson worth the money? And I get it.
Last year.
After week 5.
Okay. So, like, my point exactly.
And that was Stephen A. It was also Stephen A. that was asking that. It was on First Take.
And he knows what he's doing by this, but I think this is the point. And also to give a context, and I'll hand it over here. In the 6 years that Lamar Jackson has been in the league, 3 quarterbacks have won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, who are arguably 2 of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game, and then Matthew Stafford. So, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer too. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have 3 future Hall of Famers have been the winning Super Bowl quarterbacks since Lamar Jackson's been in the NFL. And granted, it's only been 6 years of his career. The Ravens fell short, fellas. We all know that. We understand that. But are we dreaming that we haven't had this conversation for years on end?
I mean, just a brilliant move by Stephen A. here. He knew in that purple suit, he was looking good. He was feeling himself in the purple suit, and he said, I need a viral clip today. I need to go viral so people see this suit. And how do you go viral? You talk shit about Lamar Jackson.
Absolutely. Just be dishonest.
My favorite part is he goes, where have the critiques of Lamar Jackson been? And then literally 45 seconds later, he goes, I know I used to say he couldn't throw the football. I know I said he wasn't a good quarterback. There are the critiques. There are the critiques. I like how you put, Ryan, have we been dreaming about the past 5 years? Because it is very well known the most overly criticized quarterback in the National Football League is Lamar Jackson. The man has, besides Patrick Mahomes, been the most winningest quarterback since he stepped foot in this league. And yet, it's never good enough. I get it. He hasn't won a Super Bowl. You can blame the AFC Championship on him. You can blame it on coaching. I think it's a mixture of both. I get that aspect of it. But to say people don't critique Lamar Jackson, whatever Stephen A. was drinking before going on, I just need a single sip. I just need a single sip.
I'll take a bottle.
Yeah.
I'll take a bottle. But this is the part, Kevin, you know what I think of right now? It's that Nick Young meme where the face is kind of sticking out, whatever it is. Like
the question.
The question? That's exactly how I feel because, again, and even the AFC, I know that the Ravens have had 2 positions and 2 times where they've had great opportunities to make a postseason run. The 2 times they were the number 1 seed, failed to make the Super Bowl. We're aware of that. But the only quarterback that's gone to the Super Bowl representing the AFC over this time frame has been Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. And so I don't understand why we're having this conversation because other great quarterbacks like Josh Allen are not getting that type of criticism, even though they're all just fantastic players. Why do we keep moving the goalposts for Lamar?
Yeah, I find it so hard to believe that Stephen A. is this out of touch. No. I mean, we all know how content creation works. We all know how national content creation works. I mean, I agree with Zach, where it's like he got up there in that purple suit and he knew what he was doing, man. I mean, just like you said, it's like I criticized him more years ago, but he never's been criticized before. I'm like, just because you don't do something now doesn't mean it didn't happen before. Mm-hmm. And like you said, Ryan, we were sitting here, and I know, I mean, I guess I wasn't here, but you guys were sitting here and talking about after that Week 5 game against Pittsburgh, how Stephen A. got up there. Mm-hmm. The segment was Lamar worth the money? After we watched Lamar's receivers drop 7 passes and be the reason they lost that game. And when you talk about Lamar and his criticism, obviously every quarterback gets criticized and every quarterback gets praised when it's due. Lamar Jackson has received plenty of praise over the course of his career, but his mistakes have generally been amplified more than other quarterbacks because of the way he plays the game, the way that he has entered the NFL and just flipped the way that quarterbacking is upside down. And we've seen this with guys like Michael Vick and Cam Newton. Lamar is not the first dual threat quarterback that has entered this league and has done really well. But I'll shout out Spencer Schultz here because he put out a great tweet. I don't know if you guys saw it or not.
I was just about to say it too.
Yeah. The fact that Peyton Manning won in his 9th season. Steve Young won in his 9th season. Aaron Rodgers in his 6th. Lamar is going into his 6th as a start. Even Brett Favre He won in his 6th. In the ages of those guys, 33, 30, 28 for a guy like Kurt Warner, 27 for Favre, 27 for Rodgers. Lamar is now 27. His playoff performances, they've not been up to standard. We can sit here and we can say that and we can criticize him for that. But to eliminate everything that he has done up to this point and to eliminate the narratives that have been put on his name over the course of his career, again, I don't believe Stephen A. Smith is that out of touch.
No. You know what, guys, and Rock Brad, who I want to take it next, but I kind of also feel like, you guys know me, I'm a big movie guy. I feel like when it's Ricky Bobby trying to explain that crepes are the same thing as really thin pancakes. And it's like, oh my God, I love those. And then it's saying, so why don't you just say it's really thin pancakes? In this case, why can't we just say Lamar Jackson is one of the best players in the NFL? And yes, he hasn't reached a Super Bowl, but you can't discredit anything that he's done. And it's like, yep, we can agree. Then just say it. Rock, it's nope, break it, Pepe Le Pew. And that's kind of what the narrative's been right now.
Such a great movie, by the way. What does the E in ESPN stand for? Anyone want to tell me?
Entertainment.
And entertainment. That is what Stephen A. is paid to do. Entertain. Whether he's good at it or whether he's bad at it, the guy is now an entertainer. He was a writer back in his writing days for the Philadelphia Inquirer, did a heck of a job. Now, these days with ESPN, he's no longer a writer. He's an entertainer. He sits on the stage you call your desk, whatever you want to call it, and he's going to talk. And he's going to bring up the hot topics. And he's going to try to rub people the wrong way. He doesn't care. He's getting one of the biggest paychecks in TV at the end of the day. He could care less what he says. If he is generating clicks, views, he could sound like a complete idiot. At the end of the day, he's going to get paid. And to make that statement about John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson and to call John Harbaugh a liar for what he's saying is crazy. I would love a segment with Stephen A. and John Harbaugh face-to-face on air. They can air out all their grievances. They can go back and forth. They can have that segment. The floor is yours, because I guarantee you Stephen A. would not be calling John Harbaugh a liar to his face. John Harbaugh has some valid points. These guys, coaches, the front office members, they get the clippings.
Yeah.
And John Harbaugh talked about it yesterday. He's going to scroll past the good stuff about Lamar because the good stuff, it is what it is. He knows how good of a player Lamar Jackson is. He knows he's a generational talent. And he said yesterday that he wants this guy to go down as the greatest of all time, not just at the quarterback position, in all of football. So to sit there and say that about Lamar Jackson, it baffles me. Yeah. It's like the guy is unbelievable at what he does. You can say what you want about the playoff record, but he's one hell of a football player. Not one heck of a football player, one hell of a football player. What he is able to do out there on the football field, the guy's a 2-time MVP. And Kevin, I'm glad you brought up, and Spencer's tweet as well, Peyton Manning, 9 years in, okay? He won 2 MVPs before winning his first Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson, he's got 2 MVPs on his belt already. So winning that first Super Bowl could be on the horizon. Maybe this is the team to do it, with him and Derrick Henry in the backfield leading the charge.
Yeah, for me, look, I was going to bring up Spencer Schultz's tweet, but Kevin made a great point on that one. So I'll just touch on this. With Stephen A. talking about how, there hasn't been criticism on Lamar Jackson, and that anything that Harbaugh was bringing up was not factual, is not actually factual. So we look at ESPN's top 10 quarterbacks that they just put out about 2 weeks ago, that even Pat McAfee, ESPN's own Pat McAfee, lambasted. One of the big reasons was Lamar Jackson's ranked number 4. You got Pat Mahomes that they ranked at number 1, Joe Burrow at number 2, Josh Allen at number 3, and then Lamar Jackson comes in at number 4. Of those, there's only 2 multi-MVP winners and 1 Super Bowl winner. Lamar Jackson should live right underneath Patrick Mahomes for as long as Allen and Burrow aren't winning championships either, because neither one of them have MVPs under their name.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. And look, they're all great players, right? They're
Correct.
all fantastic players. Josh Allen, stud. Joe Burrow, he's in the division. You can think what you want. Dude's a baller. He's a stud. Mahomes
on the field.
Mahomes
the Bengals are as good as anyone.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks for themselves. They're good. It's a good team. They're great players. Just don't discredit Lamar Jackson along the way. And yeah, John Harbaugh. Yeah, that's why I love Harbaugh. Of course, he's going to have his guys' backs, Kev. Like, that's exactly what it is. You got one more final point to close this up?
Just a final thing, guys. We know that Lamar Jackson, with the way this Ravens offense is constructed and how they do things, Lamar isn't going to have stat lines of 25 for 37 for 350 passing yards and 4 passing touchdowns every game. That's not how it works. He's an eye test quarterback in a lot of different ways when it comes to he can go 13 of 20 for 180 yards passing, and the Ravens can win by 30 points.
Yeah.
Because that's how good of a player he is. And I think that in the way that he plays the game, I mean, I've been screaming this from the rooftops for years. I don't care how you pick up yards. Just pick up the yards. You can run for 6. You can throw for 6. You can run for a touchdown. You can score a touchdown. I don't discredit. No one should be discrediting Lamar for how he gets the points and how he gets the yards. They all count the same. You don't get bonus points. You don't get bonus points for throwing the ball. Total yards are a big thing. But with this Ravens team, just him and the gravity that he has, right? I mean, we talk about the Derrick Henry and Lamar thing, how we're all super excited to see it, right? Part of why that's going to be so effective and why everybody's so excited to see it is the fact that, yeah, there is a level of gravity Lamar has that other quarterbacks do not. Not that other quarterbacks don't have any gravity, but with Lamar, you have to be wary of his legs, be wary of his arm. And now, when you're trying to decide between Lamar and Derrick Henry, that is I don't want to be in that position as a defense. I don't want to be in the position as that defender.
So it needs to be a war analytic or a war metric for football, because Lamar Jackson will be at the top of that list.
And he doesn't lose games either. You look at his record; he has
what I'm saying.
Winning percentages over the first 5 years as a starter. He doesn't lose games, but he gets punished because he doesn't throw for as many passing yards as other quarterbacks, and that to me is not fair when evaluating how good a player is.
Well, the thing at the end of the day is win games.
Yep.
And right now, one team can win a title every single year, and right now, Patrick Mahomes is there's no debate on that. Patrick Mahomes, the top. But everyone else below, you can't dock. The next one that has the most accolades, what he's done over the 6 years, and most wins right now is Lamar Jackson right there. So you love it. I'm happy for Lamar. We love him here. I can't wait for the duo in the season with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. It should be a great time. We wanted to touch on that. I can't wait. Am I going to overdraft for Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson now? I might in fantasy football. I might just go all in.
Doesn't matter.
And do that.
Good luck getting them both.
Yeah, I'm winning it, by the way. So.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about what we're doing for the Ryan Ripken show with the Ripken Rooster Rumble and fantasy football in a little bit. But again, that's our Ravens talk for a little bit. We appreciate you. And as always, you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Now, guys, I think it's a safe bet that we take a ride in our Adams Jeep to this trade deadline that is red hot. So let's take a little ride on our Adams Jeep. Guys, that's a good pace over there.
It gets chaotic. Oh, Kevin, get the bear more in the yeah, more.
Kevin,
yeah,
put the bear down.
Kevin, bears don't drive. They don't drive.
You don't know that.
Well, they might. I guess I don't know that. But hey, our friends Adams Jeep Adams Jeep of Maryland up in Aberdeen, Maryland. That beautiful sign right behind Zach right there. Whammy. One of our OG sponsors here. They've been great. They still have the deal. If you go up there and buy a used Jeep from Adams Jeep of Maryland and you say Rocco sucks, hey, they'll give you $500 to $1,000 in gas money just for saying that about Rocco. It's a great deal. You can't get a friend's discount, so none of us can say it. But any of you guys out there, feel free to do it. We would love that. They would love that. Tell Chuck and Matt and Steve we say hello, and you love the Ryan Ripken show on top of it. So
I bet you feel real dumb right now.
They see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
I stand corrected.
That is exactly how this looked too.
You guys can get the discount because I don't consider any of you my friends. So.
Okay, perfect.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Except
Zach.
Zach.
Damn.
You know what?
What did
because
I do to you?
Because you're not a good friend. You're a good friend.
That's fair.
Appreciate that.
You're the only one with a Jeep, so we got to get everyone else in Jeeps. And
I know.
You got the monster.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's actor.
Did you just have a Jeep or a Wrangler?
No, I just had a Jeep. My first car when I got a 2001 Cherokee Sport.
Should I just get like?
I got one of my boys that has a Cherokee,
and
then like anytime like we're around each other, he's like, I do the Jeep wave too, and I'm like, no, bro, that's not the same. You're not in the Jeep club. You don't get ducks. You don't do the
I never
wave.
liked the duck thing. I thought that was weird.
I just learned about that.
Listen, I get creative. I've gotten
and
some creative
You
ducks.
do. What's the deal with that? Like, is it just like
It's a Jeep
only
thing.
a Jeep
It's a Jeep
driver
thing.
thing?
Do
Yeah.
you
Like on the
also
dash?
give ducks, Brad? Do you also like have some?
I don't have any. I should, because like I'm just a taker right now.
What
But,
the
like-
hell are we talking
It's
about?
Jeep ducks.
Jeep
Do you not
ducks.
know
You don't know
Jeep
about
ducks?
Jeep
Dude,
ducks?
get with the program.
You don't know about Jeep ducks?
I don't know. I'm thinking about bears, and then I'm thinking about like
Yeah.
actual ducks.
No, these ducks aren't
No,
driving
the
the
ducks,
car.
the rubber
bears
ducks.
are driving the cars.
Oh, okay. Well, again, my mind. I just saw a picture of a bear driving.
Ryan, the birds aren't real. Okay.
Doesn't Zach look like
Are we talking about the birds, like the birds that are in the air, like the robots? The birds.
Yeah,
I have a story in spring training about that. Remind me to bring that up at the end about we had theories that the birds were actually not real, but they were also scouts that were listening to every one of the minor leagues' thoughts, and they were telling the front office for a different time.
That's hilarious.
Let's talk about the trade deadline, guys, because things are happening. Not actually happening moves-wise, but people are starting to murmur. Is this whole thing with the Tigers, is it real? Is it not? Well, according to John Morosi right now, guys, he's saying that the Detroit Tigers have scouts or a scout that has gone to watch the AAA Norfolk Tides. That's the AAA team of the Baltimore Orioles, for those that are wondering or are not sure. So it makes you think right now. They got a lot of players down there. They got Jackson Holiday, Kobe Mayo. They got Kyle Stowers, Chase McDermott. Really, they got a lot of talented, or Connor Norby. The list goes on and on. So, guys, I don't really know what to exactly make of it. We just had Jim Duquette on this, and we heard it last time. He said, if you're the Tigers, you got to get one of those quote-unquote untouchable players from the Orioles, being Kobe Mayo, Sam Bassai, or Jackson Holiday. He said the one that he would not trade under any circumstances, Jackson Holiday, who had a monster game the other day as he was welcomed back into playing in the field. For those that forgot, he's been dealing with an elbow injury, so he was limited to a DH role. So are you guys changing your thoughts here? Because the decision or discussion is going to continue to go. If you're going to go for a starter, is it overspend? And it's wrong to say overspend, but really. Give up. You're going to have to give up quite a bit to get Skubal. He is the best pitcher in baseball right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Corbin Burns, Skubal, they're arguably the top three pitchers. They're in the top three category right now. What would you guys want to see at this point in time? Are you guys leaning for the fact that you would want to see Skubal in a Baltimore Orioles jersey, or is that something that you wouldn't be able to stomach?
I don't see it happening. I just don't think. I think the Orioles aren't going to give up what the Tigers want, and the Tigers aren't going to bring down their price. And I think, obviously something can happen. Teams get desperate as the trade deadline approaches. The offer on the table right now is not going to be the same offer that's on the table at $350 in 8 days. So I just don't see it happening because I think the Tigers want Jackson Holiday, and I think that's a non-negotiable for the Orioles. I don't see them moving from Jackson Holiday, especially when you think about at second base, there is a hole on the roster actively. There is, if you want to look at the roster and say, where is there a spot that we could put guys and try to fit in another bat into the lineup, especially with Jorge Mateo kind of regressing over the past month, there's the spot is second base. Now you can argue move Westberg over to second, put Mayo at third. We've seen him have struggles defensively. So I think Jackson Holiday is too much of an asset, not only for the future, but he could even help you right now. So I don't see them moving away from him.
Yeah, and so one thing I want to point out with that, if you're saying Jackson Holiday, there's reports now coming out here about, I know.
I wasn't going to say it, but thank you, Ramy.
I think, was that even about this? Of course, you can't, we have a very humble group, Zach, so I'm glad you're very humble about your takes. But what I was trying to say was that there is reports now coming out that the Yankees would be willing to move one of their top chips, and that is Spencer Jones, a guy that they are very touted, that they love, because they would, quote unquote, go more all in for a top tier pitcher, position player. Specifically, we're going to guess it's pitcher, right? So we're going to hit on some other topics of that in a moment, some other trade talks. But make no mistake, it's going to cost a lot. It's going to cost somebody. Would one of you guys rather, and this is kind of where I'm in this boat, we talked before the show, Zach and Kevin and Rock and Brad, Eric Fetty has an ERA below 3. And I know he's not a sexy name for people, former roommate of Ryan Ripken, by the way, but why am I crazy to think that we need to find this year's Jordan Montgomery and not maybe sell off the farm? Because that's kind of how I feel. I think that the asking price for the Tigers, I don't know who wants to go. Put up your hand who wants to go next. Brad, you want to go?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be willing to make the move. Clearly, we know if you get Skubal, you know what you have, but there is some injury concern behind it.
It's fun to fantasize about having these ridiculous elite arms on a team that is in contention, but that's just it, Rip. I mean, like, it's fun as a fan, but I think that from a hey, let's think about this with reason standpoint, the O's are in first place. There isn't much that they have to do to actually make a legitimate run to the World Series and win, by the way. I mean, the offense is absolutely insane. I mean, yeah, they've been a little bit streaky, but that's just baseball. The arm talent that the Orioles have right now, that ball club has right now, is good enough. There are weaknesses, but every team has them. I mean, we look at the Rangers' insane run last year. They weren't a perfect team, and they still ended up winning a World Series. So to your point, I think that they do still need to make some moves, but I don't think they need to make a move to actually get rid of some ridiculous talent that is down there in AAA Norfolk, and even like a Sam Basayo, to go after somebody like Skubal. It doesn't make sense to me. If I'm the Yankees, probably going to have to sell the farm because they got nothing. They have no depth. They're the ones that are going to have to really go all in to try to win this year because they don't have like a backup plan at this point. I would say that the O's do, and the amount of depth that they have is enough to make a decent trade to bolster the bullpen and maybe get a starter. But I don't think they have to go after some crazy all-star type caliber pitcher.
Well, I think where we just figured out who won the World Series last year, the Texas Rangers. They go, well, Ryan, they made moves. Max Scherzer was hurt for the majority of that run.
Yes, he was.
And the guy that made the move, or that was the X factor, was a pitcher that people liked but didn't think that he was going to end up being the guy.
Evaldi.
And Evaldi could Evaldi's got playoffs written all over him. Zach, I see you brewing over there.
Kind of going back real quick to when you were talking about Spencer Jones, and we've seen the Yankees in these trade talk rumors, and Yankees apparently are up in the air on whether or not they would include a Spencer Jones in this trade. And it's like, okay, it would take Spencer Jones to make a big trade. Spencer Jones is the 73rd best prospect in baseball. I want that out there. The Orioles top 3 right now that are in the top 100 because Kjerstad just graduated. You have Jackson Holiday, number 1, Samuel Basayo, number 2, Kobe Mayo, 15. That's a lot different than number 73. So I don't see how it's necessary to give up one of those top 3 and the Kjerstad, because the competition, if you're competing with the Yankees in a, trying to outduel them, unless they bring up Jason Dominguez, who's 25th in the pipeline right now, unless he starts getting his name thrown in a trade, there's no reason to touch your top 3.
Yeah. And right now there's we'll touch on the other rumors here, but you got to see what's available. And we'll play the devil's advocate. Who wants to play this with me then? Rock, do you maybe want to do this, or Kevin?
Whatever. Let's do it.
Kevin, you horny for a little? You got a thought?
I was going to give a hot take.
All right, go.
Hot take, Kevin.
All right. My hot take is that I think that a Tariq Skubal level move is an offseason move for the Orioles, much like it was Corbin Burns. Yeah. And I feel like with the uncertainty surrounding not only Burns himself, but obviously Kyle Bradish and John Means and Wells and all these guys who are injured, to me, I agree 100% with Zach here because, we're talking about the Orioles, their guys compared to either Yankees or any, they can go prospect for prospect with anybody for any player if they want to. The Orioles farm system quite literally is not the same than any other farm system. It is a different ball game when you're talking about that group. So when we're talking about the Holidays and the Basayos and the Mayos and all those guys, yeah, Skubal's a heck of a pitcher. And it'd be awesome to see him in Baltimore paired up with Burns for the playoff run. But to me, when the Orioles have more, and I don't want to say they don't have direction right now, but first of all, they've gotten here by trusting in their prospects and not just, shipping off Adley, shipping off Gunnar for other star players at deadlines and making that happen. But also, I think that in some way, shape, or form, the Orioles next year are going to lean more into their youth. They're going to call up a decent amount of these guys, give them regular roles. Some of these vets might be on the way out. And you have more of an idea of who really won't be a part of that group. Again, we said they chose between Ortiz and Westberg. They chose Westberg. Ortiz was used to get somebody. I forget who said it. Having the farm system work I think it was Steve Mileski, who said, have your farm system work for you. Yep. And so to me, when you're talking about this offseason and going out there, maybe getting another high-level start, it could be Skubal, it could be somebody else who hits the market. We know that deadline deals are much more expensive. The Orioles need pitching. I'm not trying to move away from that fact, and Skubal would help that in the best way. But if they acquire a guy who's a number 3 this deadline and then go out there and get another guy next offseason or this offseason, my hot take is that I could see that path happening as opposed to getting that guy right now.
I would agree with you. You got that, Rocco.
There's only one issue there, and that's Corbin Burns may not be back in Baltimore next season. We don't know what's going to happen. He's likely going to test free agency. We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
And you look at the window you have right now with Corbin Burns. If you want to win a World Series now with him on the mound, you got to try to go out and do it this season with Corbin Burns as your ace, because no guarantee he could be in a different uniform next season. We don't know what the market is going to look like for Corbin Burns, but I'll tell you this, it is going to be one where it's a high market and teams are going to throw money at this guy if he does indeed test free agency. So that's something you got to look at. But to your point, Kevin, you look at who the O's could have going forward with potentially, Grayson Rodriguez, a healthy Kyle Bradish when he recovers fully from Tommy John surgery. And if you go out and get a Tarek Skubal, you're in a really good position going forward. But if we're talking about this season with the team you have, with the offense you have, and trying not to waste the years of Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson, the guys you have up in the bigs right now,
yep,
I really think that you should be all in, make a big move, make a splash here, go all out and try to win a World Series in 2024.
Yeah, so here's the thing. And I'm glad. Thank you for playing devil's advocate with me.
Without you even, I'm sorry.
That's why I love it. I love it because you're bringing up the thought of it, because Orioles fans would be salivating if they're like, oh my goodness, Corbin Burns, Skubal, 1-2 postseason. One guy throws 98 and throws a fastball 60-70% of the, or I think Skubal, I have it combined between his changeup and his fastballs. Skubal throws 80% heaters and changeups, and they don't hit him. Like, that's the crazy thing. He is that tough to hit. He's that good right now, and he's got good other secondary pitches. He just doesn't have to throw it as much. Having said that, and this is two things I'm going to pull up right now. Gray, great point. The worry is, do you want to pull Padres where they thought Soto was the piece, and then their construction failed? Hold on. Okay. This is the thought process. So if that fails, and you give up some of these guys, and two of those players become big-time all-stars, and you're looking at the Nationals, their rebuild is on the rise. James Wood, stud.
Yeah.
CJ Abrams, all-star. Those two guys are your foundations moving forward. This is the other part. If the Orioles could get a trade, and Randall, thank you, if they could get Finnegan and Tanner Scott and Weathers, that to me right now for a guy, and you probably would have to give up a package of Kyle Stowers, maybe Connor Norby's in there, because
I'm fine with that.
I think that gives more appeal to me than you are banking that this one player, yes, he could lead to the promised land. But if it happens, imagine last year if you trade for Skubal and he's like Scherzer and gets hurt.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I know you got your hand up like that, like a kid. Here we go.
I do. I wanted to raise, to me, Soto is obviously one of the great offensive players in the league. Not arguing that. Starting pitching, an ace of a starting pitcher, is much different than going out and trading a haul for Juan Soto. Obviously, you're going to have to give up a lot to get a Juan Soto type of guy. What's it happened twice already? So teams have to give up prospects to get a Juan Soto type player. Teams are going to have to give up a lot to get a Tarek Skubal. So the Orioles, it's like we're talking about the untouchables and who we like and who we think should stay in Baltimore. You're going to have to probably part ways with one of the guys we consider untouchable or one of those guys we like if you want a Tarek Skubal, and if you want a 1-2 punch heading into the postseason this year, 1-2-3 punch even with Grayson as that third starter.
Well, and that would be very uncharacteristic of Mike Elias to do.
Yeah.
Just realistically. It would be very uncharacteristic of Mike Elias.
And why is that, though? Because we've talked about this. A little quiz. Why would Mike not do that from the track record?
Well, because he just sees so much value in the farm system.
Boom. His value. He doesn't like to overspend.
Right.
Just like you said, it's demand. At the deadline, you get desperate. People get very anxious, stressed. We got to make a move. Impulse. Brad, you're exactly right. Hey, and that's why I like you. You're a good kid.
Sometimes I know ball.
Sometimes you know. Well, apparently, sometimes.
I think it's a shirt. I think the shirt is like unleashed Brad's powers, and that's why he's making so many great points right now. But Mike Elias, to his credit, he's been a part of a World Series team. He's built a World Series champion, or helped build a World Series champion.
Asterisk.
In Houston. Yeah, exactly. Listen, we say that, but he was one of the constructors of that roster.
Yeah.
He knows what it takes. At the end of the day, obviously all speculation, and we're going to speculate the hell out of this trade deadline because that's what we do. But Mike Elias is going to put this team in the best position possible to win a World Series this season, next season, and 5 years down the line as well. He's that good at what he does.
I agree. And Kevin, do you have a mini question that you want to stir the pot with over there?
I do. I'm feeling spicy today. Regardless of the prospect haul that the Orioles would have to give for somebody, and any of you guys can answer this, would you feel like the deadline was a disappointment for the Orioles if they only made one trade for one player?
Yeah, I would. I mean, and that's just me as a fan.
Player?
One for one.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if it's Scooball, if that's the only move, like that's still they got Scooball.
Yeah,
like,
but like you're gonna have to give up a Jackson Holiday for Scooball. That's the asking price. So I would still be bummed about that.
And then there are still question marks about the bullpen as well.
Right. Yeah. And we like Craig Kimbrell. He should have been an all-star, but there has been some inconsistencies there. We saw what he did last year in the playoffs. Sorry, Rocco. But it's there. I feel as though, and Rip, you can give me your opinion and tell me if you disagree with this. Craig Kimbrell, probably more of an 8th inning type guy, and at this stage of his career, if the O's went out and traded for a Mason Miller, I would be over the moon.
So I think that kind of goes into this part. I would say with Kimbrell, I think that people are so quick to criticize and to downplay how good he actually is. When you look at the landscape of closers throughout baseball, it's hard to close out games. The only 2 guys I'd put ahead of him right now, or you could say 3, it'd be sorry, I'd say 2. I'm going to take it back. I'm going to say 2 right at the moment. It's Clase with the Guardians. And then the next one's going to was Mason Miller. The other ones, if you look at the numbers and you look at the metrics, Kimbrell's been very, very solid. So that's the part that I caution Orioles fans with. Now, Mason Miller is a guy where you sit there and go, damn, if he's available and you can have him, and then you think about what you can have next year with Felix Bautista, I get it. I just don't know if I see the Orioles making that type of move. And then that's just where for a big name guy, I think that's where we get stuck here so much. And I, Kevin, to answer your thing, I think if the Orioles only make one move, I'd be shocked. Not even disappointed or anything, because again, I look at it more objective. I would be thoroughly shocked if the Baltimore Orioles don't make multiple moves because they have to. Why? They don't have the depth anymore. They do not have the depth at pitching because if anyone else goes down, they don't have the trusted arms there. But there's going to be a lot more options available, and the Orioles farm system's so deep that you could get some of these other tiered players and still hold on to your guys that you think can be multi-year all-stars. And I think that's what they're looking at. And with the candidates we talked about, the relievers, and I saw Estevez getting thrown in there.
Lucas Urquidge from the Athletics. I know everyone wants Mason Miller, but the 8th inning guy is dominant, and I want him very badly. His metrics are insane. But something I want to talk about real fast is we've been talking about trading prospects for pitching, but maybe it's not prospects in which the Orioles move at the deadline. So earlier today, Jim Bowden of The Athletic was a guest on MLB Network Radio on a show Thursday afternoon. During his appearance, he reported that the Phillies are aggressively pursuing center field help at this year's deadline. In quotes, they've talked to the Baltimore Orioles about Cedric Mullins. Bowden said of the Phillies, he might be a nice fit there.
That would be some shit.
I could see that happening.
I could see it happening, but I also could see the O's and the Phillies meeting in the World Series, and then there's Cedric Mullins.
If that happens, Ced is going to go off against the Orioles. If I'm the Phillies, they're looking to upgrade, and I know that people are frustrated with certain things with Cedi, but when you're looking around the league and when you're looking at other teams, the Phillies are the best team in the baseball right now. Like, they're looking at it. If they're inquiring about Cedric Mullins, they think he can upgrade. And I know you can say about issues with teams. I know people get on me. Ryan, I swear if you tweet about Cedric Mullins is all right, well, guess what? I'm going to keep tweeting about it. Want to see me do it again. I love Cedric's game. I think he has that value to help this team for this year. You can talk about the future all you want moving forward, but he can help a team win a World Series right now.
He's in the double digit. He's on pace for 20 home runs this year.
What would that return look like? Like, what would be enough to give up Cedric, if for anything?
That's the thing is it wouldn't make a lot of sense for me right now because unless they're giving you pitching prospects, because I don't see the Phillies taking anything away from their current team. So you would be trading Cedi in more of a future move to then, I guess, also open up center field for guys like Cowser and stuff.
Where you're only getting Cedi this year too, because he's on his last year of his contract.
Right.
Well, is it last year, or did he have one more?
I thought
this was the last.
No,
well.
he's got one
Yeah,
more
he got
year.
one
He's
more.
got
Oh,
one more year.
okay.
He's not
Take
an unrestricted free agent until he's 31, which will be after the 2025 season. So
got it.
a lot of good things right now, right? A lot of good things. Go ahead.
And I think too, it's like I think the people who have been on board with the whole trade Cedi thing, I think in their mind it has been that will be one of the catalysts or one of the pieces to go get a major league arm. So to trade that. And so if they go and they trade him for prospects, that would, I think a lot of people would be very, very upset about that. Even if they were on both sides, either side of that argument, people would be pretty mad
you're
about
trading
that.
him for prospects and then those prospects are flipped 2 days later to go get a big, like it would make no sense suddenly make.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And Ryan, you might well cut to your.
Hey, well, we got. It's hard to see over here. But we got to talk. We got some things coming in.
All right, hold on. I'll get it.
We're finishing up this segment, and this is actually going to be great for us here. But to finish this subject up here in trade talks, is that the Baltimore Orioles are going to be candidates, and they are as aggressive as anybody else can be. And Zach, I don't know what you're doing, but you're going to stay here and talk to me for a second. Is that the Orioles are going to find a way? Because right now, the American League, as you guys just mentioned, this is their league to win right now. It is their league to win. When you look at the construction, I'll tell you what, the one team that's actually becoming scary again, because you should never count them out, is the Houston Astros.
I mean, we talked about this. We even asked Jared Carabas about this. We said, is this going to be the classic beginning of the year, everyone throws out the Houston Astros, and then they come back? And even back then, when they were in pretty much last place in their division, they were actually competing with the A's for a little bit. Even Jared was like, it's the Astros. They have some magic where you can never count them out.
No, and that's something at least that we can understand and know, is that the Astros have been there and they've done that, and they've done it over and over again. And until that they're out, even last year, it felt like that they were to go to the World Series until Texas won again on the road 2 more times in Houston to prove that they are still a formidable and their window's still open. And imagine also if the Astros traded away some of their big pieces when they were in the rebuild.
Yeah, I mean, hell, we looked even a few months ago. It was like, oh, are the Astros going to be open to trading guys like Verlander, guys like we saw Alex Bregman's name go out there. Tucker was even mentioned as someone that you would sell high on. Now they're back in it. They're getting their pieces back. They're back in it. And it's an example of, like you said, of why you don't always go all in. They've kept their main guys that they're like, this is our centerpiece, and we're going to build around that. And that's why they've been sustainably one of, if not the most dominant team in baseball the past 10 years now.
They have been the most consistent team over the last decade. They've been the best team that you want to try to emulate what you want the Orioles to do. And granted, Mike Elias and Sig Mejdal came from there. Fair to say,
you have the right guys in to do it. If you want to do it like the Houston Astros did, you have the perfect guys.
And the last thing I'll say with this is that when people talk about guys like Kyle Stowers and they talk about Connor Norby, there's also other players that the Orioles have that are really good, like Judd Fabian, Dylan Beavers, Seth Johnson. And these are other tier players to finish the point here, Zach, that teams would love to have. It's just that the Orioles' top guys are so damn good or so damn highly touted as prospects, that's where the appeal is. But make no mistake, the Orioles could make some really big moves to help their team, but without giving up what they've worked so hard for. And I think that's the biggest part, is that the Orioles have worked so hard to develop these top tier players. You better be damn certain that you feel good about it. And if you feel good about Skubal, then great, make a move.
Yeah.
If you have any hesitation on him or Garrett Crochet or any of those other guys, then go with a rental this year that you know that can get you to at least where you hope to be, and that is in the World Series. And then at the end of the day, you just need to stay healthy. You got to stay healthy and let the chips fall where they may.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. Well, guys, if you're new to that channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We do this every Monday and Thursday. We have Kevin and Zach Reacts, which goes after every Orioles postgame as well. And then they will also have for the Ravens when it goes to the fall. And before we bring on our next guest here, and actually, Brad, I'm going to need you to hop in because you know where I'm going with this for a second. Because we got to take our trip to our good old friends at Hollywood Casino up in
West Virginia.
That was not our best.
That was not.
Kevin.
Let's try one more. Let's try it one more time. Let's take a trip up to Hollywood Casino Charlestown Races in
West Virginia.
That was even worse.
Okay, but we're working on it. Brad, you know what? Brad has a good feeling of it, at least for this case. Kevin, that was okay. But
Thank you.
our friends at Hollywood Casino up at Charlestown Races, it's about an hour and 15 from Baltimore, hour from Owings Mills. And look, they have been a proud sponsor with us, and we've enjoyed our time with them. And look, we like complimentary. Show of hands. Yep, we love complimentary over there. Hey now. And I know Brad right there, his hand's up. You can't see it, but it's up. There it is. Wasn't lying. So if you like complimentary beverages, if you use your Penn Play card up in West Virginia, you get complimentary beverages, but you can't get it in West Virginia. You can't get it in Virginia and Maryland. You can certainly get it in West Virginia. And just download the Penn Play app. If you just download the Penn Play app, you have a chance to win $2,000 in Penn Play cash for just downloading the app. And they have the Final Cut Steakhouse, which if you like your steak medium rare, which we like, you can enjoy a great steak. And if you're like Kevin that wants the meat burnt, then we can accommodate that as well. Okay.
No comment.
No comment.
Best thing to say.
It's tough. And if you have, and again, you got to be 21 or older. If you got a problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And that is all I have to say about that. Are we ready to rock and roll?
Let's do it.
We're good.
We're ready to rock and roll. Well, look, I'd like to try to give our viewers a little bit of hints when we're on Twitter or X. It's easier to do that. But, I was throwing up all these rugs. I was like, man, these rugs are unbelievable. They're incredible. And actually, when we had Ice Cube on, kind of did the same thing, right? Didn't I do a tweet right before that, Zach?
Yeah,
I
we
think
did before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in this
That's why.
case, which is great, because I'm glad we've been talking about this, but we finally get to have the creator behind it. And it's a new friend to the Ryan Ripken Show. Let's bring on Gordon. Gordon, how we doing?
All right.
Nice. It's good to be here. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited. Excited. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, dude. Well, first off, where'd you get the hat?
That is a nice hat.
Marshalls.
All right.
$10.99. Always shopping for a bargain.
That's
We're both huge Marshalls guys, so I like that.
Yes, got it from Marshalls. Always got to shop for a bargain.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, so that's fresh. One, I need to get that hat, first off. But secondly, for those that don't know, it's really what you do. It's unique, right? It's a niche that no one else is out there doing. You're making these, and you can show it right there if you can pull up you're making things like this, like the Oriole bird, which is amazing.
And look, that's what I was going for when I first started, my business. I wanted to do something that was unique, something that not too many people were doing. And I don't really know too many people that are making rugs, so that's you saying that's exactly what I was going for, something that stood out and something that, look, a lot of people don't know they want rugs until I show them. And then they're like, oh yeah, I want to get that. So if I can make somebody want something that they didn't know they wanted, then that means I'm doing something good, so yeah.
Yeah. So actually what was going to make people bring up this first one. Yeah. You have the Oriole stuff, but where it first started for you, correct me if I'm wrong, at least the recognition was last fall and Lamar Jackson. You made one for Lamar, and actually talking about getting attention. You got Lamar's attention. We have the video here. You're going to hear the audio here in a second. Everyone take a listen to Lamar realizing what you had made for him.
Hey, yeah, Carl. Where you want to get it? I want that.
Dude made this carpet for you.
I want that.
Yeah, he said you're gonna get. I'll grab it.
Yeah, I want that. Hey, yeah, Carl.
Where you want to get it?
I want that. Tell his ass. Yeah. Want that damn carpet.
I want that damn carpet. So that's where, for me, I think the first thing started for it. First off, how cool was that to at least see that? We just talked about Lamar Jackson earlier, one of the best players in the world, one of the most transcendent talents we've ever seen. And he's just marveling over what you created.
Yeah, it's just crazy because, one, he doesn't get the recognition that he deserves. Like, two-time MVP, I feel like if it was, let's say Josh Allen did what he did, he'd be, oh, my goodness, he's the greatest quarterback. But, that's for another time. We're here for the Orioles, I could go on all day on about that. But, like that day, it was just surreal. So I have season tickets to the Ravens. Haven't missed a home Ravens game in over 14 years now.
Wow.
Dedication. Rain, sleet, snow. Been there, seen the ups, the downs, everything. So that day waking up, I'm like, man, today feels good. And when I made that rug, I had, the plan of having, giving it to Lamar. I didn't want to sell it. I didn't want to, like when I was posting it on my social media, people was like, oh, can I buy that? I'm like, no, this is strictly for Lamar Jackson. So my seats are in 512. Those are my seats. And I got buddies down in 124. I come down at halftime and everything. So, I'm up top and, I'm like, I'm giving this to Lamar. People just brushing me off like, oh yeah, he's going to give it to Lamar, right? Like, sure. But, so before that, I spoke with Jordan, the equipment manager of the Ravens. He saw it and he saw me taking a photo with John Harbaugh. People coming up like, man, that's cool. He's like, come down later and then I'll see if I can give it to Lamar Jackson. I'm like, all right, cool. I got your word. And then, halftime comes, I'm down there and then, we're blowing the Seahawks out. Everything's going well. Lamar's just having fun on the sidelines. Like it's Odell's birthday, I think. Every day everything was just
incredible
going smooth, and then I didn't even know that they were filming or anything. Like I just go over and I see Jordan talking to Lamar and I know he's doing that because I didn't know he was doing any of that. It just looks like it was just a thumbs up, and that was like my satisfaction. I just thought that, he just was cool with the rug and wanted to get the rug. And then, after the game, he signed my jersey, gave me a game ball. And then he DM'd me on Instagram, was like, thanks, he appreciated it and everything. And then, couple days later, I see it on Instagram. My friends tagging me, my phone's blowing up. I'm like, what is going on? I look and I see the video and I'm just like stunned. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. It was surreal,
It was literally, and I think that's the part. It is surreal, and the fact that it started because you said a passion for doing something, and also you're a Baltimore guy through and through. I mean, talk about the roots of that. I mean, we're here talking about. I'm going to ask you about your opinions about the Orioles here in a little bit, so stay tuned on that. Cool. But because we just had a lot of trade talk here, I want to hear what you're thinking. But it's got to be really cool. I mean, we're a community based. A lot of people love the Ravens, love the Orioles. It's the same thing with you. The passion started there, right?
Yeah. Diehard Ravens, diehard Orioles fans. Growing up, it's funny because when I've done things with the Texans or ESPN and everything, those guys, you watch them on TV and it's just like, all right, cool. But when I did the rug for Gunnar Henderson, it kind of was surreal because growing up watching this team and being a part of it, watching it, being, at home, going to the games, going crazy over this team, and then, actually seeing them there, it kind of was like a starstruck moment. I don't really get starstruck, but it's the Orioles, growing up, that's kind of different, So same thing with the Ravens. I, just love my team, will die for my team, will go, go on Twitter and go behind my team and everything. So yeah, I've done, it's crazy because I'm in grad school and I've done internships with the governor's office, but while I'm doing all of that, I wanted to do this. This was the background, starting my own business and hopefully branching out and everything.
So quick question: how did you talked about when you started, you wanted to do something different? Was art always something that you were into and interested in? It how did you suddenly, you were like, I want to create rugs?
Okay, so I'm a child performer. I've done things on Broadway, Little Mermaid, off Broadway, Nickelodeon, drum for Wyclef Jean, Kobe Calais, Sesame Street on Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. So I've done things like that before in my past, and that was where my life was going. But the older I got, the more I kind of wanted to distance myself from that, and I just wanted to go to school and just do normal, because I didn't go to elementary school, I didn't go to middle school, and I was always homeschooled. I was working in New York back and forth doing shows and everything, and I just wanted to go to school, and then went to high school, and then college, graduated from college, and then started doing all that, and then I said, I was just starting to want to do my own business. I wanted to do something unique. I was researching, doing what could I do? T-shirts, make my own something. And then I remembered back to a video I saved on TikTok and a couple years ago, and I was like, oh, rugs. And then I started researching, got a good check from school. That refund check helped out a lot. Just did my research, got the materials and everything that I needed, and took off from there. And the funny thing is I started in March of last year, March of 2023. And then, that happened in November of 2023 and didn't have really much of business background. Everything that I've done was more so acting or, more so like arts like that, being a dancer, singer, and doing things like that. So, like everything just came at me so fast, just learning how to, deal with my own business. It kind of was a whirlwind. All the, thousands and thousands of people asking me for DMs, asking me for rugs and, finances, and then making sure that I'm doing everything legit. It just was kind of like,
it's overwhelming.
It was overwhelming, but it was a blessing at the same time. And, from November to now, it's just been like a smooth transition, like.
Well, and we're happy to hear that. I mean, because
Yeah,
honestly, in
absolutely.
some cases, right,
Awesome.
it's just we're all doing this. This is new to us. I mean, you started right, I guess, technically before us. Brad and I started doing this initially at the end of June, but consistently the show started for the Ryan Ripken Show in September. We haven't even been doing this a year.
Right.
We're trying to make this into a business, trying to figure out what the hell we're doing.
Yeah.
Same thing with you. I guess one thing, and then Rock, I'll let you ask about because how you got to whatever you want to ask, and also recently what you've been up to, Gordon. But how the hell do you make a rug?
Yeah.
Like what actually
That was my
goes into
question.
making
Okay.
a rug? Like walk us through how the heck you do
Like
it.
rugs for dummies right now.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Big
if
dummies.
I was having a class, here's how I would teach it. So first, I would have to have a waiver because the materials that I would have are, they're mechanical materials, and you can really hurt yourself. And I've cut myself. Like when when you see that, I say, hey, I put blood, sweat, and tears in this. It's not a
You
joke.
mean it.
Kevin, you're
put
gonna have to sign
blood,
2
sweat, and
waivers.
tears
Yeah.
in this. Like but just yarn. You put the yarn through the tufting gun. Got the like. All right, let me figure out how to actually say this so you can get the visual and see it. But you have your mesh that you put up. You have your frame. You put that on. Make sure it's nice and tight. You don't want it loose because if it's loose, it'll be flimsy and curl and it'll look disgusting. And you don't want that. So pull it tight. You trace, and you can either freehand, you can either trace it yourself or do any design that you want. And then after that, you just get your tufting gun, put the yarn through, and just tuft away. And then after that, glue it on. Put the glue on the back, cut it out, let it sit for a day or two, and then shave it so that it's nice and crisp. Like how you see these deep lines in there. Make sure it's nice and crisp. And yeah, that's just literally the gist of it.
So, like the one you have right now, how long did that take you to make?
Okay, so this one, I did this in 3 days, but that was because I was rushing. This one was not rushing. I don't like say rushing, but I had a deadline for it, So normally my rugs take like around 3 to 4 weeks for like something of this size. But when it comes to my portraits, they take around like 4 to 6 weeks because there's more details.
Yeah.
What would you say the most complicated rug that you've made has been?
Okay, the most complicated rug that I've probably made was the Lamar rug because that was the first one that I was low-key kind of intimidated by making that rug because normally I did a little bit of simplistic things, just getting my footing and making sure that I can make rugs. And this is something that I wanted to do, and like I looked at it and I was like, man, like can I actually do this? And then once I did it and it came out the way that it looked, I was like, oh yeah, this is for me. I'm most definitely.
So how long did that one take you?
Okay, that one took me. So I got the idea probably like 2 weeks to take it to a Ravens game before. So probably like a week and a half, just stand up nights, making sure getting it ready for the next game, that Seahawks game. So
that's incredible.
What if I want to sew one of my buddies' heads to the carpet? Can you help me do that?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely.
It depends on
who's
the name.
You know who you are.
Yeah,
I know who you
exactly
are.
who you're
Yeah,
referring
you know
to
who you are.
Okay, that got very dark.
Where did that come
We were
from?
like, oh my
I
gosh.
just had a question I wanted to
That's
ask.
the question
and there
you wanted
it
to
was.
ask?
That's exactly what it was.
Should we?
Before you made the Lamar rug, how many requests were you getting per day, if any? Okay.
Yeah.
And after you made the Lamar rug, what did those requests turn into? Like, what did your DMs look like? And now we're talking about almost a year from that moment.
Yeah.
How many requests are you getting on average?
Okay, so before then, I really wasn't making much because I didn't want to sell my rugs right away. I wanted to hone in on my talent and make sure that, if I'm selling a product, I wanted it to be, something that somebody can marvel at and be like, man, this guy took his time with it, So I really wasn't selling any. I was just, giving a couple away to my friends, just seeing how they reacted to it and see if they liked it. And, a couple people paid for them, but I wasn't really getting much of anything. And it's funny because my Instagram, I make music too. Like I produce and That was what my page was before, like my music page, me promoting my music. So like when I was transitioning, a lot of people didn't know. They was like, man, whose page is this? I was kind of losing followers because they knew me from my music page, and then switching over. My first business name was Space Wasters. Yeah, like that was kind of a cool name, but you know, I kind of switched it. I wanted it to be more personal to me. 112. Well, 112 is my birthday, so that's a big date to me. So yeah, but before then wasn't getting any, you know, barely any, but I had like around 9,000 to 10,000 followers already, and I'm at 40,000, and I get almost to like 20 to almost to 100 DMs a day. Like my DMs are flooded, and it's like it's hard for people to DM me because it goes into my main DMs, my my direct DMs, and then the request DMs. So you could send me a DM and it'll go into my main or one of those. So yeah,
you got a lot going on right now.
If you pull up your DMs right now, how many do you have?
Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Well, I low-key was going through them lately, but the last DM that I had was between me and you. But like, let's see. Like you can.
Did Mark Andrews drop in on this?
Mark Andrews, a lot of people. Well,
you get so many on red ones too, man.
Like
you're just going back. There's like blue dots right next to him.
Travis Etienne Jr. right there. Tylen Wallace, Devon. Raheem Mostert's wife. She wanted to get one. Jack Jones, Sean Ryan, Desmond King, Simeon. Well, he's like he's like a videographer for Deshaun Watson, and
these are all like blue check marks too. I'm seeing right now. Like it is insane, right there, so, man. Yeah, like unreal. We don't want to put your DMs on blast and show them to everyone, but that's incredible. Yeah. And the next question I have for you, man, kind of has to do with that celebrity status of people wanting rugs. Are you making rugs for them? Yeah. So, you know, the saying is what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. What you did in Vegas did not stay in Vegas. It went viral. Okay. Can you tell us about that moment between you and Bronny James and giving him that rug?
Yeah. All right. So like, I don't want to say this because like when I read what people say, they say I'm a fan, but I don't really want to say I'm a fan, you know, because this is my business. A lot of people don't know that. You know, the NBA, they actually reached out to me and asked me to make the rug, like for, you know, summer league and everything. And they kind of had that in plan, you know, so like they had it in they still have it in the concourse, like during summer league for everybody to see and everything. But like we kind of had it in plan for that to be, you know, they paid for it. They made sure, you know, everything was set up like that. But me, I didn't even know that it was going to happen that way. Like I just thought it was going to be in the concourse, but you know, the co-founder, Albert of Summer League, he reached out to me. He was like, hey, you know, come in the back. I got something for you. And then I saw them taking my rug down. I'm like, okay, are they going to, you know, like this is right after the Lakers are playing too. And I'm like, okay, I'm about to see Bronny or is something going down. And then I see my rug laid out on the table and I see Bronny, you know, having this interview. And I'm like, all right, you know, I'm about to have an interview with Bronny. So it kind of was surreal. Like I kind of wasn't expecting it to happen that way, but yeah, like I took my dad, my cameraman Al, and then one of my managers, or like Aaron right there. Yeah,
who's taking the selfie?
Right there. Yep, that's my dad. That's my dad.
Oh,
right
that's your dad.
That's my dad right there.
Love that.
Yeah.
Electric.
And look, my dad has been there with me from the very beginning. The one right there next to me with Lamar. That's my dad, and he was right there with me with CJ Stroud. And like he's been there with me.
That's so cool.
Man,
through the whole
love
thing.
that.
So yeah,
that's amazing.
That's awesome.
And you know what? The thing with that actually, and I feel for, you know, people for so many different reasons right now. We're getting on Bronny about like, oh, Bronny just got a rug and Bronny's getting all this attention. I have a little bit of a different opinion, Gordon, on all this, because mainly also because for me growing up in this area, and I grew up, if you lived under a rock in Baltimore, Ripken, there was expectation.
Who's that?
Haven't met him. Depending on the day, maybe I'm related. But the point was, I just feel for Bronny on so many different levels. And even though everyone thinks that they have an idea of who he is, or
they don't.
And the other part of it is just because of what his father's success is, has nothing to do with his own. He has a dream of his own to live out the NBA. And whether you guys think that it was fair, of whatever it may be, you can't discredit, at least what I see. I see a guy that has talent, a guy that's got to work his ass off.
Literally.
And even if he works his ass off, people are still going to have a perception that he doesn't deserve it and earn it. So like, hey, Bronny, if you ever hear this, man, I would love to talk to you because I could relate to almost all the feelings that you have And I think he can be a damn good player. I just think that people are so quick to judge. And in this case, you were just making something that was so cool that the NBA asked you to make. This was not a Bronny thing. This was you making it that they asked you to do, and it gets the attention. But some people always want to twist it, you know?
And look, it's weird. I can feel, I don't want to say this, but I can feel people's spirits, you know, and he seems like such a cool, down-to-earth person. You know, it's not like what you see on his streams or on like YouTube or like, that's who he is as a person. He's a real, genuine person. And, you know, like you could see the jubilation on his face from, you know, him seeing my rug and him, like I pulled him up one-on-one and I had a conversation with him. And, you know, I basically was saying the same things that you were saying, like, you know, I'm here for you. And like, size of the camera, like, you know, you deserved everything that you got, you know, like that's no feat. Just like if my dad was LeBron, I don't think I could make it to the NBA just off of somebody's name. You have to put the work in and effort in, you know, like, so like, he's a cool guy, you know. He's really cool, and he appreciated the rug and everything. That moment was just surreal, you know. So,
and I think that's the coolest part is like you get to see these sides of these guys when you go give them the rug, when you're having these conversations, because so many people just see the athlete as what they are on the field. And they have the stats kind of determine who they are as a human, and that's not it at all. You know, you get to see how down to earth these guys are. How they really are just regular people. And it's like having a conversation like me and you are right now. It's like it doesn't matter that he's Bronny James.
Yeah, for real. That kind of went out the window. Like in the moment, you kind of like before everything happened, just like, oh dang, all right, that would be cool. You know, not even just for business, but just have that experience to tell my children. You know, but when you're there, that kind of just goes out the window. It's not. It's like you're just having a conversation, like you said, how me and you are. And, you know, after it's kind of like, dang, that just happened. But when you're there, it's like, okay, I'm just having a normal conversation with a normal person, you know, regardless of his accolades or whatnot. But he's just a normal person. And it's crazy that he has to go through what he has to go through just because of who he is. I didn't know you switched into, you know, Rocco right there. I didn't know Rocco was going to be on the show.
Can you fire us up? Can you fire us up? Or are you going to do it to me now? You're going to do it to me now?
Zach would do a horrible job. He could not do that Roquan Smith job.
And look, I don't think there's too many people that could do a Roquan impression. Anyway,
no, not at all. It's so Gordon, where can people find the rugs? Obviously, we follow you on social media. Throw out your handles and do you do custom requests? Like if people hit you up, do you do custom requests?
Yeah, I do. So I only have like around like 10 to 15 requests a month because if I take everybody, it'll be, you know, pandemonium. But I run myself thin. But you can find me on Instagram at thereal.112 and Twitter 112 rugs and TikTok 112 rugs. So and one thing cool about my rugs is that if anybody gets my rugs, speaking athlete-wise, Lamar won MVP. Gunnar Henderson in the running for MVP, All-Star this year. Jack Jones, he got a rug. The week that he hit me up was the Christmas week, and then he got an interception, pick six against Patrick Mahomes. And C.J. Stroud won his first playoff game the day that I went, and he won AL and Rookie of the Year that year. So I feel like I have a good track record. So any athlete that wants a rug, you know, and then with Bronny, he was kind of on the slump before. And then the day that I came, he scored his best, you know, the best 2 games that I was there at the stadium too, and giving them the rug. So just throwing that out there.
Can I have a rug? I actually need a job after Wednesday. So you know, maybe that'll be some good vibes and help me out.
Go help make rugs. That's
hey, look.
How about this? Can you make well, first off, we got rugs. We got Mark Andrews and Roquan Smith in the building right here.
You guys should high five.
That was cute. Good.
So
you guys are good
gonna
kids.
go to them?
So actually, those actually are custom orders of someone.
No way.
Yeah, those are actually paid for and everything. And I told them, I asked them if they would be cool if I brought them onto the show.
Whoever it is,
sure.
These
are amazing.
Rugs.
These are the real deal.
Might have to wash it a little bit after Zach put it on his body, but you know.
but you know what we're gonna have to do then, because I'm excited. You got to get Derrick Henry one so we can have just that magical year. Yeah. Everybody wants to see Derrick. Everyone's saying, you know, well, running backs get to a certain age. I don't think Derrick Henry feels that way. I don't feel that way. But just to get the point home, why don't we send him a rug there on top of it?
Almost definitely love to send anybody on the Ravens a rug, Derrick Henry, anybody. That would be, that's exactly what I started my business for. When I started my business, that's what I wanted to do. I was like, hey, I had the goal in mind of making rugs for athletes, streamers, celebrities, and that's hopefully what it is that I'm doing right now. So yeah,
these are
power
incredible.
of social media is great, man.
Yes,
I mean,
really.
It's awesome to see your work, to connect with you, to get to see just like what you're doing, because when you make the rugs from scratch, like I see the videos you put out, they're sick. It's so interesting because I was like, I don't know anything about rugs other than, okay, we walk on them half the time, or like they're in the house. But what you do with them, it's so creative, man. And it's like, it is really, truly cool what you're doing. And the fact that you're from here, it makes it even better. Yeah. So.
Bolt, and now can I ask you about the Orioles?
Almost.
I know your rugs are great and they're fantastic. They're bigger than Kevin. They're literally bigger than Kevin.
I'm a small dude. So.
And this is only half a rug for you. Are these life size? Because this is I was gonna say,
I try to make them as life size as possible.
Is that the exact height?
No, not that
Smith?
one. Because the frame that I have is 6'6", so 6 foot tall and 6 foot wide. But I made that one a little bit smaller because I couldn't carry it. Every time I was trying to take photos, it was I'm a small guy, so I tried to make sure that I could hold it and take photos with it too. So
listen, there's so 3 of us that are under the 6 foot club right here.
Short
I think
Kings,
that's 4.
So Short Kings,
make that 4.
Yeah, no, I'm including you and me, Kevin.
Us, yeah.
We're the short guys over here, and then
there's nothing wrong with being short.
That's right.
Exactly.
Hopefully one day have that money
when you got
to
the talent like this.
Yeah.
You talking about limb lengthening? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the knee
I see those videos, man.
Look,
all right, let's get back on track here for a second because you guys are all babbling and none of it made sense when you're listening in the mic. Love you guys.
Yeah.
I'm pointing not at you, Gordon. I'm pointing at
Rocco
small number 2, small number 3. Gordon, you're small number 1 today, not number 3. You can be in the higher pecking order here.
That's good.
But can I ask you? Then you're an Orioles fan. We're going to get into a lot of Ravens stuff here in the future. Obviously, we get into the fall, but we're a big, we cover the Orioles.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts? What do you want to see at the trade deadline? A lot of people are talking about the Orioles and what's happening. What would you want to see with the Orioles approaching this July deadline?
Look, obviously pitching, but I might have a different opinion because I don't know. I feel like we need like the last couple years that have been on our ground, we had that true veteran. We had Odor, we had Robinson Chirinos to, pick these guys up when we're in a slump or just be there. And we have a couple guys, but we're, our core is fully like growing, together. And but I really want us to get a bat, a consistent also bat, even though we're leading a lot, but like we're with runners in scoring position. I feel like we could do a lot better and we could get somebody that could, do a lot better with that when we're slumping or whatnot and, not rely on the home run so much. So yeah, but I also do want pitching. If we could get Tariq Schoolball, that would be amazing. But I don't know what I love our farm. Every time I see these trade predictions, I just am like, no, I don't know if I'm willing to give up these guys, but I know we're going to have to do it. But yeah, so
that's the conversation we just had about Scooble. It was that he is the premier guy that's available. And I swear, and I understand John Morosi can tweet out anything and people are going to be, he just tweeted out something else saying the Orioles and Dodgers are put in the same category, but the Orioles can put together a compelling offer. The Dodgers cannot. It's like, well, yeah, the Orioles farm system is unbelievable. Yeah. It's the best in baseball for a reason. There's so much talent. But again, what's it going to be to take to get those guys? And to your point, Gordon, this was something that you wanted to mention without saying the word. You said veteran. I'd say leadership.
Yeah.
So for the Orioles, having Kyle Gibson was a great leader for the team last year. I know how people feel about James McCann, and I love him as a leader as well. But there is another component there that they could add on a veteran sense where I know Mike Elias is looking at all options, but this is a team that's learning. They're growing. I think just above all, they just got to be able to get to the postseason and really just try to get by that first round. That's going to be the biggest part here. And we're getting one more. We have the O's cap is from Marshalls, correct? We got another question on that.
O's cap from Marshalls. I'm not sure if it's there now, but I did see it on New Era, I think, if it's there.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Yeah, I might have to dabble into that hat. Thoughts, concerns, anything else Orioles wise?
These rugs are just sick. I
can't get over them.
Well, what we're gonna do when the show ends
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say is when the show ends, we're going to get a little like photo op here. Maybe actually get this camera for the Holy Shirts and Pants.
You guys are literally holding the rug where
No,
it
I'm trying
cuts
to
off
give it
the
to Kevin
camera.
to put it on himself.
Oh, I was very confused with the. Yeah, let's go
There you
this.
go. That's sick. Yeah, so if anyone out there looking for any O's rugs, Ravens rugs, this right here is your guy.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, Scott, how could I forget about this as well? Hold on. It's beautiful.
It's awesome, man. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And if you guys are new to that channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We got Gordon in the building. And just correct me if I'm wrong. It's 112 dot. What 112 dot rug is the handle?
For which one? Instagram or
For both, actually.
For Instagram, it's thereal.112. Yep. THEREAL.112 for Instagram. And then for Twitter, it's 112 rugs.
That's incredible.
Give
Okay,
him a
good.
follow, hit him up.
Yes.
He's the man.
And then also, again, if you love him, and hopefully you love us because we brought him on. So hit that like and subscribe button to the show. But I've been asking this question, Gordon and Scott. Thank you for bringing it up. This is brought to you by our friends over at Stuggies. Over there, you been to the ballpark recently? Have you had a crab mac and cheese dog by chance?
I had what was it? A crab dog? Yeah, I think so.
Woo! Yeah, there you go.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah,
it was the day that the Orioles blew out the Yankees here, and it was just phenomenal. Where Jorge Mateo hit his first home run of the season. That was a really fun game. But
him and McKenna both went yard.
Yeah, they did. Ryan McKenna,
legend, Ryan McKenna.
I miss Mac. Was my teammate too. He's a good kid. But the thing is, you eat a crab mac and cheese dog, good things happen for you, for the Orioles. But here's the thing. You might have heard this debate. You might have not. But I consider crab mac and cheese a topping, right? It's not a condiment. We're looking at the condiments of, mustard, relish, ketchup, or plain. So, Gordon, I got to ask you the question. If you're going to the ballpark, what is going on your hot dog?
Old-fashioned mustard. Mustard is my god. Mustard is the only thing that you're supposed to put on a hot dog.
Thank you.
And if you have any other problems, debate it with me. You know my Instagram. So
I'll be debating with you in about 10 minutes. So once you leave, we'll be having that conversation back.
You can't say it to his face. You gotta wait. DMs.
You just sent to
I
his
can't
face
tell him how I
once
feel
you
to his
leave.
face.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, you can.
What do you put on your corn dogs?
I'm not a big corn dog guy.
Kevin,
I love corn dogs.
we know you love corn dogs.
I remember watching the stream a couple weeks ago and corn dog love on the show. I was like,
I don't put anything on my corn. Do you put mustard on yours?
Mustard, yeah.
Mustard, okay. Because I'm a relish guy. So I feel like there's a huge war between mustard and ketchup, and then relish is kind of like J. Cole and is like in the back saying, I don't have anything to do with this.
Yeah, no, mustard is top tier.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, Kevin was also taking man bites out of corn dogs too.
What can I say? I like them, man.
Yeah,
that
was. We'll talk about that also.
Yeah, we might have to.
Oh God. Yeah, and then Engraven was showing up saying, "Hey, I know him," and then Joey C. #, where is Kevin's stick?
I forgot about that.
So did I, honestly.
I forgot when Kevin's stick disappeared.
Man, never to be found again.
Yeah,
you're gonna find a random hot corn dog stick.
I know, it'll be just lying around somewhere.
Oh, goodness gracious. You guys are killing me. All right. Think we got it wrapped up. We'll show off the rugs here for the Holy Shirts and Pants members here, and we'll get some photos up to show because we're showing you right now on the screen. It doesn't even do it the justice when you see it in person.
Yep.
It is electric.
These are so cool. And obviously, we actually met at opening day right before you gave him the gun. Yep. And I, from like a mile away, so even like from the distance, I was like, holy shit, that is the coolest thing ever. Yeah. And immediately I remembered the Lamar Jackson thing, and I was like, oh my God, that's him. I was talking about starstruck. I was starstruck by you. I was like, that's the guy with the Lamar Jackson rug. That was so sick.
You're getting the love here, man. It's amazing.
It's funny because once I knew people kind of knew who I was, was like after the Gunnar Henderson rug, I went to the game with my dad and my sister, took her to my first game, and it was the Jackson Holiday game. It was his first game, and I got stopped like 10 times. Like, hey, you're the guy that I didn't even have a rug with me, and people just knew me from my face, and I was like, hey, maybe this thing is working out for me. It was pretty cool, but it's fun.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you deserve it, man, because these are awesome, and like, you talk about 100%. The work that you put in. Like this is truly incredible.
Yeah, it's a lot of toll on your body too. A lot of people don't know that. It's
sure.
Toll on your body, toll on your hands, toll on your back. Just hours I will spend, I'll wake up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, get breakfast, and then drink some coffee, and then just from like 9 o'clock to 9 at night, just working all day on a rug, and then nowhere near finished, and then do it for like a whole week and a half.
That's got to be the hardest part, is like spending all those days, or like all that time on a day, and like even if you're not getting a massive part of it done, like you have to know like, hey, this is part of the long game.
And especially rugs are expensive. I want to put this out there. Like, rugs are expensive. For me to make a rug, like, alone took $150, like, alone from just my own money, just to make this, the yarn, the materials, the backing, everything. Like, it's expensive, so like, the return is good, but I just, making them, and especially like with the Lamar rug, I didn't make anything off that. Everything that I did, and having a business, you always gotta make money you gotta spend money to make money. And like, it'll work out one day, and hopefully it's working out. But like, these things are expensive. When I was doing my research on how to make them, I was like, oh, okay, what am I getting myself into? Do I have this? And but it was working out good. So
So I learned a lot about you today, Gordon. One, that you had the entertaining side of you, the art, is it like the musical background, the artistic side, besides making actual great products with rugs, but you were a dancer too at the same point. And you were in The Little Mermaid. I don't think I didn't talk about that part right there. Who did you play in The Little Mermaid?
Flounder.
No,
you were Flounder.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Snapper. It's like, no, I'm not getting into that.
Real quick.
Yeah, but did that Sesame Street and everything. When I was in high school, I went to Carver. That was my prime. I was a dancer, so I danced all 4 years, and that's where I thought my life was going, into the entertainment arts. And I would have never expected, 4 years, even 2 years ago, that I would be where I am in this position. Like, I thought it was more so, academic wise, when I graduated in college, going to grad school and everything, and then like, this has just been working out the way that it is, and it's just like, man,
awesome.
Like,
so I guess in this other case,
man.
Hey, you never know what the journey's going to be, right? I was hoping I was going to be able to play baseball till I was, going towards my dad set me up for the failure there. He's like, oh, everyone plays until they're 41 and plays 21 years. Erroneous. Thank you. And then you get older and realize how damn hard it is. Hard to play even a year, a day in the big leagues, 10 years. But then in life, the point is, you don't know where it's going to go. Here we are. I didn't expect for this to go where Kevin's eating sticks. Rocco there's a lot of things I could say.
That?
I don't. But
but
the cool part is, then we have a chance then to have you on here to talk about this. And the journey of life. You never know where it leads. So this is amazing. I love it. And just so people to know, I actually got some questions and get you out of here. And we'll get out of here. A couple things. I do need some. I would love an Austin Powers rug, Victoria, but I also might have to talk to Gordon about a Ryan Ripken show rug here in the future.
Man, I got to get Locked On Ravens going with it.
And we'll have to get a pricing, but just out of curiosity, what is pricing? That has been a question Laura asked. How much is the pricing for the rug?
Hey, look, since y'all came on here, that was my plan. I wish y'all kind of work this out a little bit, because I was planning on having surprising guys with a rug,
so we're just gonna have to have you back on.
Exactly.
That's
so basically next time I got you guys. But pricing, it depends on sizing for pricing. My prices, my sizing starts from 2x2, and this is like around the size of like a 2x2. This is normally like this. I can go a little bit smaller, but to make sure the detail and everything is right. Like, this is like the base size that I do, like right here. And that's more like the 3x3 right there, or like 3.5 by 3.5. And it goes all the way up to 6x6. And the pricing, I don't really want to get into pricing, but it, like, my portraits, they start like around from like my player rugs around like 800 to up to 1,000, and then so forth and so on. But pricing depends on size, what kind of like the intricacy of the piece. So I like to tell people, send me a photo of what it is that you want, and then I can kind of give you a base price. But like for the Orioles rugs, more like around like 250, 275 ish, around that size. So.
I was gonna say, because the detail, like, and I'm not sure how you guys can see it on the screen, but in person, the detail on these rugs is unreal. So that's literally like pretty much a 6-foot portrait of Roquan Smith over there, and it is as detailed as ever. So it's it's incredible what you can do.
Thank you.
It is. It is. Well, hey, Gordon, we appreciate you. I think we're gonna wrap. Are we cool with wrapping up the show in general, guys?
Yeah, man, let's go.
So, Gordon, you can close it out with us. I can't find my glasses though.
Hey,
This is
look,
tragic.
first off, I just want to say thank you for having me on here. This has been a blast. I've been waiting for this, being on here, chop it up with you guys, So, yeah, thank you. So,
Of course.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks
we appreciate you. We're not out of the weeds yet here. We got to do our sign off. I can't find my glasses, but we're gonna rock and roll. You guys ready to hit it?
Let's
Before
hit the
we hit it,
music.
hit that like and subscribe button for everybody. All right, hit it.
All right.
Oh, baby.
I feel naked without my glasses.
just to get another look at the Orioles.
Yeah.
As always, here on the Ryan Ripken Show, we appreciate you joining us. And again, I hope you had a great Monday. A lot is happening here. As always, have a day, have a night. We'll be back on Thursday for a brand new edition. We'll see you guys soon.